Seeing is believing. Dhamma Talks by Sayadaw Nyanabhasa. Talk 10. Experience of the Unconditioned. With much contemplation on the rise and fall of conditioned phenomena, sankhara, when knowledge, jnana, becomes mature, the yogi will see the unconditioned, asankhara, at the ending of rise and fall. The unconditioned does not exist beforehand, it appears only with the disappearance of the conditioned. I give this talk based on the sutta references of Arahants and the experiences of some yogis. Why do I have to speak about these matters? Some people are practicing Dharma and can discern impermanence and its ending, yet they do not recognize it as unbinding, nibbana, because they lack the opportunity to approach the noble beings, Aryas. For example, Mahanama the Sakyan did not know himself to be a stream enterer. King Milinda asked Venerable Nagasena about the experience of nibbana. At first, the knowing mind discerns the rise and fall of phenomena. Later, transcending the ending of rise and fall, it abides in the nibbana element. The yogi must take great care. He must know precisely every arising and vanishing phenomenon. Other mind states must not be allowed to enter the mind. As the contemplative mind becomes closer to nibbana, it later arrives together with the cessation of rise and fall. I will analyze the process of cessation because it is very important. In the Buddha's teachings, this is the highest and most profound Dhamma. Some say the mind depends on the brain. This is not entirely correct. It exists as depending on the blood of the heart. Consider the story of a young monk who was eaten by a tiger. When the element of consciousness, Vijnana Dhatu, arrived at the heart area, it came to cessation. When there is trembling or fear, the heart beats faster. Strong emotions have the same effect. Roots, light of knowledge and the disappearance of the body. Depending on the state of mind, the heart's blood changes. There are 6 roots of consciousness, and one must understand them. When the root of greed, wanting, affection, liking and attachment arises, the heart blood becomes bright red. The color depends on the state of mind. The root of hatred is sadness, disappointment, aversion, irritation and related states. When this root arises, the blood of the heart becomes murky. The root of delusion is nodding, doubt, confusion, and indecisiveness. When it arises, the blood of the heart becomes reddish. These 3 are the unwholesome roots. Let us now continue with the 3 wholesome roots. The root of non-greed is giving, generosity and sharing. When this root is present, the blood of the heart emits a colorful brightness. The root of non-hatred is goodwill, kindness, and friendliness. Then the blood emits a clear white color. The root of non-delusion is the knowing mind that discerns impermanence, anicca. When this root arises, the blood of the heart becomes clear, like the surface of glass. How extraordinary this is! With the cause of a purified mind, form itself becomes luminous, shining like a diamond light. With a clear mind, the eye, ear, nose, and other sense faculties also become clear. Mind is the principal factor, therefore the yogi must make the mind clear. The body too gains lightness and brightness. With the clarity of the ears, even distant sounds, such as birds far away, can be heard. These are yogis' experiences. When there is no dust or pollution of unwholesomeness entering the mind, light arises when anicca and magga fit together. When looking at the body with this light, everything in the body can be seen clearly. In one of Sayadaw Kandema's talks, he gives very detailed explanations of all the internal organs of the body and their functions. Quite remarkable. This comes from his direct seeing and the light of knowledge. In darkness one can see large objects but not small ones, because there is not enough light. If a small hole is made in a wall facing the sun, when sunlight enters, tiny particles floating in the air become visible. This is due to light. In the same way, when a yogi has the light element, and the knowing mind observes the body, many instances of impermanence are seen. Aloko udapadi, light arises in the yogi. With extensive discernment of impermanence, weariness develops. True weariness arises when the whole body seems to crumble and disappear. Once, while I was teaching at a certain place, a layman said to me, "Venerable sir, you speak about rise and fall, phenomena arising and vanishing in blips, but I have never experienced this." I replied, "You are talking to others with your eyes open. How could you see it?" After hearing my exhortation, he practiced accordingly. He practiced continuously for 3 to 4 days without fail, sitting, not talking, and keeping his eyes closed. He discerned impermanence and said, "Bhante, I have now seen the blips." If one practices persistently, seeing the body disappear, discerning impermanence with knowledge, and continuing effort with disenchantment toward impermanence, eventually it leads to cessation and final ending. 3 types of defilements and their extermination. Here it is necessary to explain the 3 types of defilements. These are latent defilement, anusaya; obsession by defilement, parayuthana; transgression, vitikama. Latent defilements exist within the round of existence. The mind carries them along through the continuous processes of cause and effect connections. When the appropriate causes are present, such as greed or anger, they will arise. Newly arising defilements are called obsession by defilements. If these obsessions grow stronger, they lead to transgression, which manifests through bodily or verbal actions. Which defilement is eradicated by the knowledge that discerns impermanence? It eradicates obsession by defilements, the second type. According to the dependent arising process, discernment stops the connection between section 2 and section 3. Craving, clinging, and action cannot enter the mind. This is called non-arising cessation, cessation through non-occurrence. With the 5 path factors, mindfulness, energy, concentration, right view and right thought, defilements are eliminated, so that obsession cannot arise. If obsession does not arise, transgression cannot occur. Regarding the first type, latent defilement, this is eradicated only through the knowledge of the path. When there is no discernment of impermanence, whenever feeling arises, craving, clinging and action also arise. This leads to the arising of new aggregates. This is called following the simile of the dog. If a person throws a stone at a dog, the dog chases after the stone and bites it. This does not stop the person from throwing more stones. If the dog instead bit the person throwing the stone, the person would stop. In this simile, the person is the cause, and the stone is the result. By observing the arising of feeling, one is only seeing the result. One must discern the vanishing of feeling, the path knowledge, to exterminate the cause. The other way is when painful feeling arises, and one merely notes it and tries to make it comfortable so that it goes away. This is conditioning feeling, and is connected to the round of existence. This is an attempt to exterminate only the result, because feeling is the result within the round of existence. By exterminating only the result, the process will never end. This point is very important, even for world leaders and politicians, when dealing with international problems and suffering, such as climate change and conflicts. It seems to me that they follow the simile of the dog. Even if changes occur, they are only temporary. Then how should one practice? Contemplate to discern vanishing phenomena, impermanence and the path. In this way the path factors arise, and craving cannot arise. The mind will not follow desire. Dhamma is non-self. It follows its own nature. The nature of pain is simply painful. When ears exist, sounds will be heard. The yogi must use wisdom to contemplate their nature. If one is able to discern them correctly, practice becomes successful. Now yogins understand the three types of defilements and the extermination of the cause. What remains to be understood is this. After seeing many rise and fall processes, the process itself changes. The impermanence process increases and decreases. Arising becomes faster, and then slows down. It is as if the process plays itself out. In the texts, this is referred to as Vutanagamini. In ordinary language, it means that strength is required for the cessation of phenomena. Impermanences are already in the process of cessation. A simile is given. Crossing a large trench by jumping. A man walks toward a trench that is wide. He cannot cross it with an ordinary jump, so he must walk backward to gain momentum and strength. Even then, it may still be impossible. He must walk back further. 20 paces may not be enough. He may need to walk back 30 paces. After that, by running forcefully toward the trench, he is able to jump over it and reach the other side. Cessation, coolness, and the verification of Nibbana. The khandhas are the result of the round of existence, moving onward within the whole cycle of existence. Therefore, near the end of their impermanence, the arising becomes faster and then slower, like the example given above. This stage requires strength and force for cessation. At last it happens very quickly and stops. If the yogi discerns this clearly, when the process stops, he may take it as Nibbana. Then how does one check this? Mogok Sayadaw also said the following. Seeing is peaceful, and staying is coolness. Seeing with peacefulness means that the instantaneous process of impermanences stops in a single blip. If you ask the yogi where have the impermanences gone, he will answer, they have gone to the place where there is no more arising. This is the unconditioned Nibbana. Because there is no more heat of defilements, no more burden, there is a sense of coolness and lightness. The yogi continues contemplating impermanence and suffering, not only for 1 or 2 days but for many days, until their ending. Now there is nothing left to contemplate. The burden of suffering has fallen away, the heat becomes cool and peaceful. In the following, the Sayadaw mentions certain pseudo-Dhamma experiences that yogis may encounter. There are 2 kinds of these. Seeing that is not peaceful but accompanied by staying in coolness. Seeing that is peaceful but without staying in coolness. Pseudo-cessations and the verification of true cessation. Cessation with sloth and torpor. Because impermanence is not truly seen, mindfulness only returns momentarily in a blip. The yogi may think that impermanence has come to cessation or an end. In fact, he is nodding. In his mind it seems peaceful, but his abiding is not cool. The defilements are still present and burning hot. Cessation driven by effort. The yogi wants cessation to come quickly, and becomes impatient. This state of mind should not be present during practice. While sitting, he must contemplate and allow anicca and magga to fit in naturally. Do not let desire arise, wanting cessation and wanting to see Nibbana. This takes time. Without patience, the contemplation becomes incorrect, and impermanence cannot be discerned. This is cessation driven by effort. It is important to recognize this as a pseudo-dharma. 3. Cessation accompanied by rapture. When impermanence becomes strong, light and rapture arise, and the body feels light. The yogi's mind sinks into these pseudo-dharmas and does not truly discern impermanence. Cessation accompanied by tranquility. Mind and body become tranquil. Seeing is not yet peaceful, but abiding feels cool. The yogi still discerns impermanence. Only by overcoming this stage will he see nibbana. The yogi can check whether this is real cessation or not. He sits in front of a Buddha image and makes a resolution to know the cessation. If it is a real cessation, namely path knowledge, then fruition mind will arise and he can enter the fruition state. By making a further resolution, Blessed One, may I experience again the cessation that occurred before, he may experience it again. When he makes a 1-hour resolution for sitting, the process begins again from impermanence. It is not like before the cessation, where impermanence increased and decreased. Instead, the yogi sees impermanence for a period, and then it comes to a stop in a natural way. Path knowledge cuts off the defilements. Fruition knowledge extinguishes the remaining heat that still lingers. It is like a piece of burning charcoal. When water is poured on it, the red glow turns black, yet the black charcoal still contains heat inside. If you pour more water on it, it cools down completely. This is like the function of fruition knowledge. Path knowledge only cuts off the defilements, while fruition knowledge enjoys the nibbana element and brings coolness. If it is a true cessation of dukkha, the yogi can maintain it. If it is a false cessation, he cannot, and his condition may even worsen. Further verification of fruition, and the intrinsic nature of emptiness. With further testing, the experience becomes more significant, confirming whether it is genuine. Sayadaw once related an incident involving a female yogi who was a school teacher attending a retreat. She reported her success to him. He did not say whether it was right or wrong, but simply told her to check it for herself. After some time, pain arose and she began moving around again. In this way, the experience revealed itself. If someone is able to enter the fruition state, his or her pupils do not move when the eyes are open. When someone is merely discerning impermanence, the pupils continue to move. In the fruition state, the in-breath and out-breath are cool, and this coolness pervades the entire body. Mosquitoes may bite people in ordinary states, but not someone abiding in the fruition state. I have heard a related story concerning the Guangqing old monk, 1891 to 1986. People around him noticed that mosquitoes bit them frequently, but did not bite the old monk. This is related to the absence of defilements, which otherwise emit smells that attract mosquitoes. Ancient texts also mention 2 kinds of bodily scent in women. A virtuous and noble woman is said to have a lotus-like fragrance, whereas a lustful woman is said to have a fishy smell.